Two gays watch a movie!
With Arron Holman.
And Zacary Landalt.
I think that works. Hi, I'm your host, Arron Holman.
And I'm your other host, Zacary Landalt.
And today we're watching
The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, I love this movie. In 2007, 20th Century Fox released the film starring Meryl Streep in her Oscar-nominated role of Miranda Priestly and co-starring Anne Hathaway and Stanley Tucci, with a featured star turn by a then-unknown Emily Blunt. It eventually made over $325 million worldwide at the box office on a budget of $41 million, and its popularity has stayed vibrant since its release.
In case you haven't seen the film in a while, here's a brief rundown on the plot.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
Andy is an aspiring journalist fresh out of Northwestern University. Despite her ridicule for the shallowness of the fashion industry, she lands a job as junior personal assistant to Miranda Priestly, the editor-in-chief of Runway magazine, a job that, quote, millions of girls would kill for.
So you don't read Runway?
No.
And before today, you had never heard of me?
No.
And you have no style or sense of fashion?
Well, I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
Andy plans to put up with Miranda's excessive demands and humiliating treatment for 1 year in the hopes of getting a job as a reporter or writer somewhere else.
You have to trust me. Being Miranda's assistant opens a lot of doors. Emily is going to Paris with Miranda in a few months, and she's going to meet editors and writers from every important magazine, and in a year that could be me. Right? And I swear, this is my break.
At first, Andy struggles with her job and finds it nearly impossible to fit in with her gossipy, fashion-conscious coworkers, in particular, Emily, Miranda's senior assistant.
If I'm not here, Andrea, you are chained to that desk.
Well, what if I need to...
What? No. One time an assistant left the desk because, she sliced her hand open with a letter opener, and Miranda missed Lagerfeld just before he boarded a 17-hour flight to Australia. She now works at TV Guide.
After a disastrous dress trial meeting in which Miranda berates her in front of the entire team, she approaches art director Nigel to help her learn the ropes in the world of fashion. She begins to dress stylishly and starts showing effort for the position, accommodating all of Miranda's whims and fancies.
Are you wearing the
Chanel boots? Yeah, I am.
Though problems arise in her relationship with her chef boyfriend, Nate, who increasingly finds her spending all her time at her new boss's beck and call.
You used to say this was just a job. You used to make fun of the runway girls. What happened? Now you've become one of them.
That's absurd.
Hey, that's okay. That's fine. Just own up to it. And then we can stop pretending like we have anything in common anymore.
After observing the personal choices and sacrifices she will inevitably have to make to stay in this high fashion world, Andy reaches a crossroads where she must decide which version of her life will she choose to pursue.
You want this life? Those choices are necessary. But what if this isn't what I want? I mean, what if I don't want to live the way you live? Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants to be us.
Oh my goodness. I've seen this so many times.
Who hasn't? This is a comfort food, like soup for the soul type movie for me.
It's a Saturday night. I'm having my cup of cocoa with maybe some whiskey in it, and we're having a great time.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I'm having chocolate and wine and...
Ooh, red wine. It's more of a red wine movie. I take it back.
100%. This movie is one of my favorites. I'm so happy we are covering it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How did you first come into contact with this movie? When's the first time you remember seeing it, Zach?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't think I saw it in the theater, I have to say. I don't know why, but wait. No, yeah, I didn't see it in the theater. But I remember at the time One, I was obsessed with Meryl Streep, so that was already like, cool, you got me. And I loved Anne Hathaway from The Princess Diaries, so I thought, oh, so this should be great. And I also remember it had a really weird trailer that made me intrigued by it, because I don't know if you remember the trailer to this movie, but it was kind of just like the first 5 minutes of the movie when Miranda's like coming up to the office and like
Oh,
sees.
fun.
Yeah, it was just like a snippet from the movie, so it caught me.
Hmm. I think the way that I came into contact with the movie, I didn't see it in theaters either. 2007, I
I
had to
think
have
I was
been
in
like,
college, so I was probably just like not. I don't know.
I was finishing up high school or getting
Okay.
ready to. And I actually probably didn't see the movie for maybe the first 2 or 3 years that it was out.
Ooh.
But it was my freshman year of college, late 2008, that I probably saw it because everyone kept telling me I looked like Adrian Grenier.
Mm,
And at the time, that's when Entourage was huge.
ugh.
Devil Wears Prada, and of course, he was also in Drive Me Crazy with Britney Spears. So it's like,
What do you say with Britney Spears?
yeah, listen, everybody just
Melissa
like,
Joan Hart was the star of that movie.
was it?
Yeah.
I'm listen, cut that.
Nope.
Oh,
Not
well,
so fast.
fair.
Moving.
Fucking listen, maybe I'm having red wine right now, and maybe I'm not.
Hey, whatever. It's
Um,
Thursday.
Well, everyone just kept bringing up this actor to me, telling me I looked like him. I'd not really followed anything that he ever did. And so I think this was the first movie that I ever turned on that he was in, with Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep being there. I thought,
Yeah.
what's there to lose? And oh my God, I found one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it's the best. Well, what I love about it is it's not really a rom-com. I mean, I know there's some romantic shit with her boyfriend, like navigating her relationship,
Yeah, but it's
but
not like romantic.
no, and it's much more about it's just a really sharp comedy. Like, and I remember when I was researching this, Meryl Streep had turned it down a couple of times because
Hmm.
she didn't think the script was that great. And I think because they wanted her so bad, she actually literally makes the movie better, not just with her performance, but I think she made them polish up the script more. And so I think the movie is better for her being in it for
I
many
love
reasons.
love that. Something I found out in researching this is whenever she did show up on set, they lowballed what was her going rate at the time,
Mm,
and when she showed up, she immediately threatened to quit if she did
wow.
not get a raise. And what they ended up doing, the counter offer, they literally doubled whatever it was that they had already put on the table
Shit.
in effort to keep her. So what you're saying is absolutely true. This movie honestly would not have been what it was without Meryl Streep.
Yeah, like I'm sure it could have been still been good, obviously, but I think she is the special piece. I'll put it this way. I don't
Hmm.
think another actress would have been nominated for an Oscar for this. And a lot of people could say, well, that's because she's Meryl Streep. But no, I actually do think it's an Oscar worthy nomination. But I think another actress, this would have just been like, oh, it's a goofy fashion comedy. I don't think it would have had the prestige, as it
Hmm.
were.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Instead of being, an Oscar de la Renta worthy performance, it could have easily been something cheesy like, okay, listen, I love this movie, but like it could have been something cheesier like 13 going on 30.
No,
Like I
yeah, I
could have
mean that's what I mean.
easily
Like
have
it,
seen
it
it with
almost
that.
was that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like that's kind of what I think they originally all thought that all this would be like. Oh, it'll be like a, based on a book. It'll be funny. We'll get some cute rom-com girls in there, and we get a slightly older. Well, because I read, we'll get to that later, but the list of other actresses they looked at for Miranda's role, it was not initially clear how similar it was going to be to what they eventually got with Meryl Streep. Like it could have gone a very different route, as it were.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, so who would you say are your favorite characters in the movie?
Well, we have to start with, in my mind, we have to start with Anne Hathaway because
Uh,
she's our narrator. She's the one where we're watching the life unfold around.
yeah.
So I really believe Anne Hathaway. This was one of those times. This is the fourth movie that she had been in by this point of her career where she gets a makeover. So like, I don't know who in Hollywood was like, look, Anne Hathaway is the frumpy, dumpy, plain girl.
Right?
But
The fact that
like,
they tried to like put her in a lumpy sweater and like a bad jacket and be like, look at her, isn't she a
she's
mess?
so
Like,
hopeless. It's like her skin is flawless, and
my God.
that smile, when she does smile, it is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So I have to start by saying Anne Hathaway, but then also immediately in the same breath, it has to be Emily Blunt coming out.
Emily Blunt.
You know, go ahead.
I think Meryl Streep is Meryl Streep, don't get me wrong. I will always say she's the best thing in the movie because she just is. But Emily Blunt is, because first of all, I didn't know who the hell she was at the time. She had done like stuff overseas, but this was her first big like American movie. And the fact that she nearly stole the movie from Meryl Streep, I think she should have been nominated for supporting actress. I'm gonna say it. Like, I know they don't usually look at comedic performances as much, but if you want to talk about what her Oscar clip would be, there's a solid like 5 different things in this movie that could be her Oscar clip. Like,
You know,
so funny.
which one would you pick? I want to know which one you'd pick.
Which one would I pick?
Yeah, for her Oscar clip. Suppose that Emily Blunt had been nominated for supporting actress. I know exactly which one I would pick.
How about you go first? And I'll say.
All right. The one that I would do is at the end when Anne Hathaway calls her and she's like, hey, just got back from Paris and I have all these extra clothes. If you could just take them off my hands for me. And she does this whole like, well, I don't know. That'd be a really big imposition, but yes, I'll have someone sent over, you know, but like she's almost crying at that point because, you know, it's really beautiful. Everything she's doing is like subtextual right there versus what she's saying. It's just really good acting.
It is. I do think my clip though would be her in the hospital room. Just when she's been hit by the car and she's eating her pudding cup with her roll. Which part of that scene would I take though? Because there's so much, but I just think it would be what's the I know it's the entire movie. I could quote the entire thing. Like I do think if you put it on, I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotcha. When she's like, how's that line start? I'll clip all this stuff.
No, if we're living in Melissa Joan Hart,
this
Britney
is dead
Spears.
Air. This is different.
This is it. Mistakes. Got it.
Oh, when she's like, you sold your soul for those Jimmy Choos. I saw it. And the worst part are the clothes that you're going to get. I mean, you don't deserve them. You eat carbs for Christ's sake. While she's just like shoving
eating the pudding.
Mouth,
and
just like, oh, it's so unfair. Like, I think that would be my clip. That or when she's like, I just want you to know this is a very difficult job, which you're entirely wrong. And if you do a bad job, anytime she's just so intent. What's so funny is I don't think she really like scares Andy, but she's just so intense with Andy. I think Andy's more just like, ugh, oh God.
Just off put.
Yeah, just kind of like, whoa.
Not intimidated, yeah.
But just like, yeah. I think like, okay, so Hall of Fame, what are some of your favorite Emily lines? Because there are so many.
Let's see. Man, it's still at the end. I like where her character lands.
Yeah.
At the end, it's right when she gets off the phone call with Andy. She's on crutches. And and there's a new girl who's sitting, like a new temp who's sitting across from her now, and she just gets off the phone and she like hobbles and she goes, "You've got some very big shoes to fill. I just hope you know that."
I love how yours is sweet, and my first one was gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a prior engagement? Some hideous skirt convention you have to go to?"
Oh man, she's so good. The reads. So another thing that it's kind of a character, especially given the topic of what the movie is, you know, fashion, clothing, design. I'm going to go ahead and say that the clothing is another character. It is so essential to this movie for so many reasons. Patricia Field was the costumer for this, and it actually earned her an Oscar nomination. Can't believe that they didn't win it, but from what I was looking at, they spent over $1 million on costuming this film.
I bet. Oh, I bet.
All of those designer clothes were real.
Oh, yeah.
And from my understanding, it is the most expensively costumed film of all time.
Well, and do you know Pat Field? I know her from Sex and the City. So I was at the time I thought, ooh, and the woman who did Sex and the City is gonna costume it.
That's
That's gonna be
who.
good.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
know of Patricia Field because she's a, I don't know, fashion icon.
Oh wait, that too.
You know, like
But I
that's how I
remember.
know Patricia Field. I've never really watched Sex and the City, and so I didn't know
Oh,
that.
I'm a big Sex and the City nerd, and it's fascinating when I always hear about her costuming process on that show, because she would do like designer expensive pieces, but then she would always finish them with stuff that was like really cheap, like stuff from thrift stores or like
But that's how
vintage.
it's real.
Yeah, and
You know,
so it makes it look
like-
more lived in and not so like this is from a catalog. And so I thought like, ooh. So I mean, because I do think when you think of this movie, you think of the lines, and then you also think of the clothes they're wearing when they're saying those lines, you know. Because like I think of Anne Hathaway in her green coat with the leopard like trim on the cuff, or I think about the Chanel boots, of course.
How about the
And-
moment when Stanley Tucci, he looks at her, she's wearing a very simple top and like pencil skirt, and he like turns and looks at her and he goes, "Who put this together for you?" And she like looks at herself and goes, "Oh, this is just something I threw on." You know, like it's such like a beautiful,
God.
fun moment.
Where's it when he's like giving her makeover and she was like, a poncho? He's like, you'll take what I give you and you'll like it.
Yes.
He also so Stanley Tucci is another one where especially as a gay person, it was he obviously is gay. I think obviously is gay. I mean his little monologue he gives her in his office is so sweet, and it gives you just enough insight into his character where he's not really letting her in, but he's basically being like, you are a spoiled white girl and you should be grateful to have this amazing job, and you need to stop whining about it and start working harder.
100%. Yeah.
That's what I love about it. She's not in the right. Like, she's like, everyone's being so mean to me. And it's like, girl, you knew exactly what job you were signing up for. So either quit the job and let someone else have it who actually will, enjoy it, or you do figure stuff out. Because yes, she doesn't need to dress a certain way, but why are you taking this job?
Here?
Yeah, why are you here? You know, you could do this anywhere. If you want to be an office girl, you could do that at a million places in the city. So come on. And also, she looks so fabulous after come on.
Absolutely.
The hair
Something I
alone.
found out about the character that Stanley Tucci plays, Nigel. I found out a little bit of casting trivia about that. The person that they originally wanted for that role, I'm blown away by, because I think it would have
Well, I
been
wonder if it's the same person I read about.
probably Thomas Lennon, who is most well known for being Lieutenant Dangle in Reno 911. That's who they wanted to play Nigel.
Oh, I heard someone else.
Who?
I heard that they were trying to cast Graham Norton.
Oh, yes, Graham Norton auditioned for it several times, but they didn't pick him.
So I love Graham Norton.
Yeah, Graham Norton just didn't get picked, versus Thomas Lennon was who they had in mind for the role.
I'm really happy he didn't get it.
Me too, honest to God, because there's so much that would have been different had it been him. It would have been so much more comedic, but I don't know if that would have been better.
And I think Stanley Tucci is hilarious, but just in a more subtle. What I love with this movie is I feel like most versions of this movie in this genre would be a lot more broad. And there are like some broad comedy moments, like physical comedy moments, but it's also very quiet. It's a very quiet and subtle movie in many ways. And I think that's what makes it so good. So I think a more
understated.
I think a more understated performer is better for all of these roles, because then you still get the flamboyant colors of this movie. Like, I would say Emily is a pretty flamboyant character, but she's very like, they're
serious.
They're all very guarded characters, all the people, because they're also afraid of everyday interactions, that they keep themselves very steely. But all good. I also was remembering when Stanley Tucci runs into Anne Hathaway in the cafeteria. Like, you know that cellulite is one of the #1 ingredients in corn chowder.
Yeah, I think Stanley Tucci did an incredible job.
Oh, I love him.
And it also led to, this was the first time he and Meryl Streep had collaborated,
Yeah.
which led to right down the line them being husband and wife in Julie and Julia.
Yeah, like 2 years later. I think
Yes.
this movie is why she got him cast.
100%. It had to be just
And he
because their
probably wouldn't have been
chemistry.
cast if not for this movie, because I actually think this movie was really good for him because he was kind of like that secondary guy in rom-coms for a while where you would always see him like, oh, look, it's that dude. And this was the first time I didn't find him obnoxious in a movie because he usually played like a schmuck in most things he was in.
Mhm.
So I think this was a nice recentering for him as an actor.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I could
will.
always be wrong. But correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't he also the dad in Easy A?
Yes, he is.
Oh,
You are
good
correct.
God! I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm so happy that The Devil Wears Prada happened. So
I
it
was gonna
led
say,
to,
I am so
yeah.
happy that I was right.
Yeah, well, no, I also am that, but anyways, no, I really am. I'm just so happy it happened for him all those 3 times. I love anytime Stanley Tucci shows up.
Oh, me too.
It's because I know he's going to, I don't know, he's going to bring credibility to it. He's going to bring believability. Every time he's on screen, I believe him.
Well, and he was really good at portraying just the exhaustion of his job where like, I remember this one part where they're doing a photo shoot and somebody comes over to him and is like, oh, this or this, and he's like, oh, that, and he's like, oh, I can't believe I have to talk about this crap all day. He's like, I love my job, but also this job is slowly killing me. And he's just so, yeah, it's such an understated comedic performance, but he also is really good at his job. I love that they show like she isn't this monster. That's what it's so funny. Everyone paints Miranda Priestly as this like witch dragon lady, but she actually is. She just wants people to be working at the level of work that she believes she is also doing. You know what I mean? Like if she sees people like staying 2 steps ahead and being ready to answer any question she has, then she respects them because she never ever speaks to, I mean, things happen with him later that she kind of backstabs him, but she never talks down to him once in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
he's actually the character that you most see her really engaging with him as an equal.
Yeah, I can see that. And then towards the end of the movie, Miranda tries to do that with Andy, with Anne Hathaway's character.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
tries to bring her into like, the fold.
Oh yeah,
kind
she
of
decides like, oh,
permanently.
I like you. I'm gonna, and I think she likes her over Emily because Emily wants her to like her so much. And I think she yeah, she hates that Emily wants to be loved by Miranda. So she's like, no, I won't do
Mhm.
it. Okay,
Speaking
so
of, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna talk about this movie, I'll talk about the thing that I talk about every time I see this movie, which is, I'm sorry, her friends are kind of shitty.
Oh, thank God you said it.
Because in this movie, when we first meet them, she's like a struggling girl in the city. Her friends all have their various jobs, and the thing that I noticed about the beginning of this movie, no one loves their job. Like no one in this group of friends is like raving about what they do during the day, and I feel
True.
like I almost wonder if it was like slight jealousy that she was being so fulfilled by her job by the point,
Ah.
because that's when they all start. I mean, yes, the one friend calls her out for like being flirty with the guy at her art show. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just weird. It's just I always thought the scene where she brings, first of all, she brings them all free stuff, like free stuff from her job. And what do they immediately do afterwards? They snatch her phone when her very important boss is calling. And like it's like why are you being such assholes?
Yeah. I can definitely see how Andy's personal development did not it wasn't matching with them. So like, yeah, they
And
were
she was
not a
becoming a
supportive
different
friend group.
version of herself. I mean, I'll give them that, I guess. Maybe they were like, what's your deal? Like this isn't you.
Yeah, but that means all
But
right, if
people
somebody's
change.
not willing, yeah, if people are not willing to stick with you during your change, during your
And Fred should be happy
cocoon,
to see you developing.
100%. Oh, I have a bigger problem, honestly, with her boyfriend, with Nate.
I was not gonna forget about Nate.
Listen, I think Nate, out of that group of people, I think he's the one who closest to love enjoys his job.
Well, sure,
But
but he always keeps like, I remember he's just like shitting on the restaurant he works at the time.
mhm. But it is, I think it does have a lot to do, well, not a lot to do, but it does have something to do with the jealousy for sure. I
And
don't
even it's not
know.
like jealousy, it's just like we said, like not supporting a friend that's just developing into a different version of themselves, which just does
Mm,
happen in life in general.
yeah,
Like
growing
I'm not the
apart.
same person I am now that I was 5 years ago. So it's silly to mock a friend that you see dressing differently and just it's strange. It's strange. But
Now,
but back to
what do you
Nate.
think? Hold on. Yeah, yeah. What do
Okay.
you think about specifically how she would always answer the phone call no matter what was going on in the given moment? How would you deal with that in a relationship? How would you deal with that?
Well, here's the difference between me and her.
Hmm.
Not the difference, but I feel like, well, actually, no, it's not even her. It's Nate. To go back to
Yeah,
Nate. So I'll answer
yeah,
your
it
question
is.
with a Nate comment. I
Hmm.
feel like Nate as a partner, when she
Hmm.
went to him, I'm sure there was a scene that we just didn't see. It just, in
Life.
the life of movies that we don't see every scene. I'm sure she went, so sweetie, here's the thing. I got this very big, fancy job. My boss is very powerful, very fancy, and I am one of her assistants. So if at any point in the day she calls me, I can't let her go to voicemail, barring me be like in the emergency room or something. Like
Mm.
I have to answer the phone. And that's just part of when you are an assistant to such a high power figure, that
You
is
have to be available.
you're
That's what you're getting paid for.
yeah, like that's you are the assistant to one of the most powerful people in New York City. So yeah, like that is your life. And if you don't want that to be your life, then don't take the job. So I don't know. I feel like I can get it from his point of view, saying like, "I just feel like you always answer that phone when she calls," but I always just rolled my eyes at that whenever I watch the movies. I think, well, that's her job, dude. Like
Mm.
that is her job. If like doctors do the same thing, like if they get beep beep beep, they got to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those are equal importance of job, but
Listen,
it is like a requirement.
the next issue of Runway is just as important as the ER.
Listen, gallbladder, you can get it anywhere, but can you get the Oscar de la Renta, orange scarf that's in the newest edition? I don't know.
Where are my Hermes scarves?
Where are the skirts from Calvin Klein?
All right, all right. I can see that. So what
Well,
you're
what do you
saying
think?
is, I
You can
think
be
it came.
honest.
No, I think it came with the territory. I think you're absolutely right. I wish we had seen them have that conversation because unfortunately,
Mm,
without seeing that scene, what we do get from Nate is then, in my opinion, maybe an unfair representation because all
mm,
we see of his opinion of it is that one time where they're outside, she picks up the phone, she's super sorry because they were in the middle of a fight, and he says, you know, whose phone calls you always answer, that's who you're in a relationship with.
Okay, but
You
can I
know,
tell
so
you, he has
what?
another line in that same scene though that every time I hear it, I just want to scream. He's like,
And
"I wouldn't care if you were pole dancing for a living as long as you did it with a little integrity." That's when I went, "Okay, all right,
mm,
that's
yeah,
not cute."
I agree. I agree. That is not how is she not doing it with integrity?
Exactly, like, that's what I'm like, "Don't be a dick." Like, that's
Yeah.
where I hate this movie ends with her needing to apologize to him, like, they felt we needed to see that as an audience, like, I didn't need that scene at all, I gotta be honest. But, I wondered
Wait,
actually,
is that
where
the end?
yeah,
I
at the end.
always I always like leave it with her just walking away in Paris.
Oh, no, there's more.
Ah! Wait, she goes
No, but
back to him?
well, I don't know if they imply that they could
Oh yeah, they
possibly.
meet up. They meet up and they
Yeah,
talk.
because he gets a job in Boston, and then he's like, I bet they have grilled cheese in Boston, and you're like, no, don't go up there. But I was thinking about this as we're discussing this. I wonder if maybe they had a dynamic where when she first took the job, she did find the job very ridiculous. So I wonder if at first that was the dynamic with her job, like let's all make fun of it, and then eventually she
Oh.
stopped making fun of it, and
But she didn't communicate that,
or that he
probably.
couldn't, or yeah, like if that had been how she was with it from the beginning, maybe their dynamic would have been different, or maybe he wouldn't have been cool with it. But she had evolved on the job, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And even at the end of the movie, I feel like she's an Andy that's like somewhere in the middle ground. Like she's not the Andy she was at the beginning of the movie, but she's not the Andy that she was at Runway. She's like, it's like casual sleek. It's like really nice, sleek, simple pieces, but she at least looks like a, you know, somewhat fashionable woman.
She looks self-assured, confident. That's the last impression I get from her, is like she's not gonna look to other people for validation much anymore.
Well, I think she also learns that if she wants to have a professional fancy job, like your outside is a reflection of you as a package, whether you want that to be a thing or not. And so I think she finally learns that lesson, that she doesn't need to put on this. I think sometimes it was this cynicism as armor with her, the way she was just so judgmental against those types of people. She's like, oh
I
well,
like that.
I'm a serious writer, so I would never care about what I was dressing. I'm a writer, and it's like, well, you can be both. Like you can be both, because all the people that work at that magazine are brilliant, but they also care about how they look. That doesn't make them less intelligent.
Speaking of Andy's development in that sense, I'm going to bring it back to the source material for this movie. It was a book before it was a movie, and it was written by a Lauren Weisberger, who actually appeared in the movie. She is uncredited as the twins' nanny. We see her very briefly.
Can I tell you, when you said she appeared in the movie, that was the first thing I thought. Like, I wonder if she was the nanny.
What the fuck? How would you guess that?
Because it's like a non-speaking role. It like, you know, and also it was,
but was seen. Yeah. But was seen.
Yes, seen.
Yeah. Which also, just random fact about the twins, over 100 pairs of twins auditioned for that role.
I had that on my trivia.
What are we doing with
insane.
our time, people? Like insane. Just pick some twins.
I love that they were so committed to actual twins.
I know, insane. And
probably just for money.
Are there really 100? I mean, there are over 100 twins in that age range.
There are over 100.
Looking at this is crazy.
Are they all quality though? Because there were 100 scenes.
Do they all look exactly the same? Anyways, Laura Weisberger, she did work at Vogue, and that, of course, is the big rumor to who Miranda Priestly is that she is supposed to be Anna Wintour of Vogue.
Oh, and she is. She
is, but like it is very unofficial that she is. Like anywhere that it would like officially say that, I know specifically at Vogue, whenever the movie came out, no one who worked there or like in her inner circle was allowed to comment on it.
I heard that.
On, like the film existing, you know, like
I heard that. Well, and I heard they went to several people, obviously in the fashion industry, to be in the movie as cameos, and there are a few cameos, but not as many as you would assume for a movie like this. And that was because she kind of like unofficially went, "Don't you appear in that movie?
Don't you dare!"
Because she thought it was going to be like a scathing a portrayal of her, and I actually think it's oddly humanizing in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, by the end of the movie, I know that character. Like, I get her deal.
Yeah. I may not agree with her decisions, especially what she did to Nigel. But
well, you know, but it's like, here's the thing. It's like that thing where she goes, you have to make tough decisions. And so she's like, I knew if I didn't do this, I was getting fired. And I care so much about the magazine that I didn't want to get fired. So I had to make, I mean, it's not great. Not great, but it's like, what?
Yeah.
Am I a Viper lady?
No, I'm just like, I that's just a hard decision, you know, for me. Like, I don't know that.
And she was about to be a single mom again.
I know, she's going through the divorce. I can't. Oh.
And you know what it is? You know what? You know how I thought about it also?
How?
I feel like she had lost her husband. She had her kids. But her first real love in her life is that job, that magazine. So the idea of someone else taking away the thing that she at least feels, you know, justified in spending so much time on, I don't think she was going to allow it to happen. So she had to make a tough decision, unfortunately. And she technically wasn't like, she wasn't, you know, firing Nigel. Like, Nigel has a job at the end of the movie. It's just that she, you know, She unfortunately clipped his wings a little
Okay,
bit.
there's a line right there. Whenever she announces it at the ceremony, and Nigel and Andy are sitting at the table together, and he's clapping. He looks so sad in his eyes. But then he says, "She'll pay me back when the time is right." And then Andy goes, "Are you sure about that?" I don't think that she will.
Well, I think he says no. I think he's like, no, but I have to keep hoping. Yeah.
I don't think she will. I think it is a case of, unfortunately, self-preservation out for number one.
Oh no, yeah,
damned who gets in the way.
And it's the epic thing of like, is it bad if someone looks out for their own job over other people, or looking out for ourselves? But then, like you're saying, it's like if she had stayed out of the way and let him get that job, she would have been out of a job. So it's like it's kind of like, at least in her scenario, they both still have a job. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to
All right.
justify. I'm a dragon lady.
I get that. Okay, I like that. It's
I might just be a
great.
ruthless bitch.
It's not great, but I don't know. I'll take it.
I'm just saying it's complicated. I think in a job like that, it's probably a lot of gray area stuff. Is what I feel like.
Well, let's see. Do you have any more trivia about the show, or should we start moving towards 2K's acting?
Oh God. Well, the only other trivia I had was the list of actresses that were reportedly considered for Miranda Priestly.
Oh, please. Let's hear
You want to hear this list? It runs the gamut.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I love alternate, casting. That's like our fave. Let's do it.
Well, I did know for the Andy role, they also looked at Juliette Lewis and Claire Danes.
Do you know who they kept offering the role to?
No.
But she said no several times. So eventually they moved on. Rachel McAdams.
Oh,
they literally kept offering, not even auditioning. They're just like, please play this role. And she just said no. And after the third time they moved on, they found Anne Hathaway.
Wow. That would have been a solid second choice.
Oh, I think, a very logical second choice.
Okay, so, but for Miranda, the list I have, in consideration, Jennifer Aniston, Kim Basinger, Cameron Diaz, Heather Graham, Angelina Jolie, Lisa Kudrow, Helen Mirren, Gwyneth Paltrow, Michelle Pfeiffer, Julia Roberts, Meg Ryan, Hilary Swank.
Holy shit.
And also on the list, Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, yes, I knew about Alicia Silverstone, and that one made me so happy. But I was like, that's weird.
Oh, my God. So wild.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but
that movie could have been entirely different.
Well, I think we would not be gay. We would lose our gay cards if we moved on without addressing also the Meryl of it all.
Oh, the Meryl.
Just because, I mean, what to say? She plays this role in such a different way than most actresses I think would have played it, which is more like shrieky, like viper bitch. Like I think, but she's quiet. She's like terrifying and silent.
She's quiet. She's cold. She whispers to make you have to lean in and listen to every word she's saying as she tears your outfit to pieces. Love it. No, Meryl Streep is unbelievable. I found out that she dyed her hair white for the film, which
I thought that was a wig.
She did that to her own hair. And that ended up, Patricia Field loved when she did the hair that way, because she instantly said, now my choices for her outfits are just so much more open,
Oh, yeah.
Her hair will go with anything now. And so like that opened up a lot of options for her. Meryl Streep brought stuff to this role that wouldn't have been there without her. My favorite line that I said, or one of my favorite moments, is at the end, the final scene of the movie with Miranda and Andy. They're in the car.
Yeah.
The last thing Miranda says is, everybody wants to be us.
Because I know what you're gonna say.
Yes, because of Meryl Streep at a table read, that line was originally supposed to be, everybody wants to be me. But of Meryl's own idea and own input, they changed it to everybody wants to be us, which I think
she said she wouldn't say that. She wouldn't say that.
No, she's not.
She's actually not a narcissist. It's actually not about narcissism. It's about she's a control freak.
100%.
And she also knows she's she's juggling 100 balls in the air, and so anything that's gonna make juggling that even harder, she doesn't have time for that. So that's why she's about efficiency. Like, that's the thing, she's only ever mad at people about actual things where she's like, "Why don't you have samples in the room? Like, why weren't you prepared for this presentation?" Like I think people always flip out on her like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they moved this thing up." And then she's in her brain, she's like, "Well, why weren't you already prepared? Like, you knew you had to do this." So she just wants people to do their job. That Miranda. And just Meryl Streep, I think what she does so well is she lets her guard down maybe like 2 times in the entire movie. And she does it so subtly. Like, the first time is when Andy goes upstairs in her apartment, and then she catches her and her husband in a fight. Oh god, like
the way she looks at her, like her eyes are gonna just kill her. Like, oh
yeah, because
my
first she looks at her like, "Oh
God.
god, I'm so exposed," and then she looks at her as like, "How dare you allow me to be so
here?"
exposed?" Yeah, like, how dare you?
Then, of course, the still that back at the end of the movie when they see each other that one last time, she refuses to give her even the
Anything.
like little wave acknowledgement. She just touches her glasses, bends down, gets in the car. But then she has the moment, where
The
she
moment.
yeah, she has the moment. And you know what I'm talking about.
The
You
moment.
see the moment. She like takes off her glasses. And what I assume this moment is she's watching Andy and she thinks for a minute, I'm proud to have helped shape her to not need me. How brilliant that she doesn't need me.
Yeah, she's just brilliant.
She is. And she has that little moment. I also think that it's kind of her
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right.
identifying. Yeah, I think it's her identifying with Andy. Where it's like, I think she's happy to see her do this because I think it's what she would have done in Andy's place. You know what I mean? Like, she would have made the strong, hard, independent choice. And I think she's really proud to see that.
So should we move on to the next segment of the episode?
Yes, I'm ready. This next segment is my personal favorite. It's two gays acting. Now, what we have decided to do, we're doing dramatic readings from our favorite moments in the movie. Zach, will you help me out here?
Of course.
Fantastic.
Would you like to go first?
Oh, I will. I'm ready.
Okay.
Something funny?
What? Oh, no, nothing's funny. It's just both of those belts look exactly the same to me. I'm still learning about this stuff. And,
This stuff? Oh, okay. I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select out, oh, I don't know, say that lumpy blue sweater, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world that you take yourself too seriously to care what you put on your back. But what you don't know is that the sweater is not just blue. It's not turquoise. It's not lapis. It's actually cerulean. You are also blindly unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns. And then I think it was Yves Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets? I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. Then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you, no doubt, fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs. And so it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry, when in fact, you're wearing the sweater that was selected for you by people in this room from a pile of stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna go home and cry while my boyfriend makes me a grilled cheese.
God, I love this. This is so much fun. Getting to do that was my whole life.
Yeah.
God, I love cerulean.
Cerulean. It's not blue, it's cerulean.
Bitch. I can still see that entire moment too. It's like where she's putting like putting the belt on the dress, which does not, in my opinion, go with that dress.
No, but I'm not fashion.
I'm not gonna nitpick, but I'm just like, that was like a really like egg turquoise.
I know.
It was very weird. I thought the combo was a little weird.
Talk to 2007 Patfield.
So, Zacary, are you ready for your reading?
I am.
All right.
You thought I didn't know. I've known what was happening for quite some time. It took me a little while to find a suitable alternative for Jacqueline, one that she would accept. Turned out that James Holt job was so absurdly overpaid that she jumped at it. Then I let Irv know that Jacqueline was unavailable. Truth is, there's no one who can do what I do, her included. Any of his other choices would find the job impossible and the magazine would have suffered, especially because of the list. The list of designers, photographers, editors, writers, models, all of whom were found and nurtured by me and have promised me they will follow me whenever and if ever I choose to leave Runway. So he reconsidered. But I must say I was very, very impressed by how intently you tried to warn me. I never thought I would say this, Andrea, but I really see a great deal of myself in you. You can see beyond what people want, what they need, and you can choose for yourself.
I don't think I'm like that. I couldn't do what you did to Nigel, Miranda. I couldn't do something like that.
But you already did. To Emily.
That's not what No, that was different. I didn't have a choice.
Oh no, you chose. You chose to get ahead. You want this life, those choices are necessary.
But what if this isn't what I want? What if I don't want to live the way you do?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants to be us.
Oh my God, living.
I'm having like a whole gay cloud.
I
of
am
happiness.
literally like freaking out right now. That was so much fun.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We're such good actors.
You know what we should do is down the line.
Yeah.
Listen, listeners, down the
Yeah.
line, once we start growing with your sharing and
Yeah.
subscribing and review,
Yeah.
I would love to put together like a digital table read.
Like a
Like a movie.
benefit reading or something.
Yeah.
Like maybe like we raise money for something.
Yeah, we could probably do, I'm
Ooh.
thinking like, we don't even have to do one whole movie. I mean, we could.
I would.
Like,
I will tell you
that
I
would be-
would. If like one night we did like a Zoom thing, I'd do
Yeah,
that.
that'd be so much fun. It could be one whole movie, or it could even be like sections of movies.
Oh my gosh. I'm
You
down.
know what I mean?
Oh, I'm
Oh,
down.
that'd be so much fun. I'm thinking like Hocus Pocus would be a blast.
Well, who's the third?
We'll find them. We're
Okay.
casting.
Because I also was thinking Romeo and Michelle.
Ah!
Ooh, Roomy.
Ramon.
Ooh, Ramon.
Let's see. Some other just the last stop on our segment of Two Gays Watch a Movie is
It's our very scientific, very accurate gayometer.
our gayometer.
Oh. Where this week we'll be rating the movie on a scale of, most straight to most gay, or in terms of this movie, from lumpy blue sweater to the Chanel boots.
Are you wearing the
Chanel boots? Yeah, I am.
Ooh,
Now, I'll let you go first. What do you think?
all right. How gay is this movie?
Yeah.
How gay is this movie?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how gay this movie is. I have checked the temperature of the gayometer.
Oh my.
And
Is it sizzling?
it is fucking hot.
Is it like popping off, mama?
I think it is 9 out of 10 for me.
Yes, bitch, work.
Oh, man.
I think this movie is made for the gays, but I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 simply because we don't have an out gay character. But
Well, Nigel. I think Nigel's gay.
but he's not openly out if he
I just think he's
is.
not screaming about it.
Well, that's fair, but because we
I
don't
get what
get
you mean.
any
He doesn't ever make
exploration.
it clear, like,
Yeah, we don't get an
fair.
exploration of the gay experience necessarily. So
It's
for
weird.
that
What
reason,
what I liked about that most was that they didn't feel the need to say he was gay, but I feel like the audience just knows it. But I also was like, but you could say it. Like, you could say it.
well, if he is gay, then I venture they should have used him more then.
Mm.
It could have been a little used more, but it wasn't, and I'm not offended by it. But because of that, I do have to dock a point from
Oh, yeah.
what would have been a 10 out of 10 gay
Okay.
movie. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. And so, yeah, it's a 9 out of 10
Okay.
on the
Fair enough.
gayometer.
Okay, for me, let's see, you take Meryl Streep plus Anne Hathaway.
Meryl Streep's like +5.
Yeah, plus don't interrupt my answer, bitch. You do Meryl Streep plus Anne Hathaway, divided by James Holt, who is very sexy in this movie. You get the man candy, you get the clothes. You have you factor in Madonna's usage in the movie. They do Vogue to her, of course,
I
her
love
montage.
that moment.
That is maybe my favorite montage in the movie.
Yeah.
So I think all that together, the only thing I'm going to dock it for is that they made Andy have to go to that fucking greasy chef and tell him that for a second she was like sorry. Like we knew it was. She can apologize, like, oh, I'm sorry if I made you feel like you didn't matter. That's fine. But the fact that she had to say the words, I just want you to know that you were right. No. Fuck that. I don't like that. So I also am going to I will agree with you.
Yeah!
I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
We're like twins.
It's pretty gay, you
It's pretty
know?
gay. It's pretty
I
gay.
mean, the only thing that could have made it gayer was like gay sex. So,
If Nigel had been out, I would have given it a 10.
yeah,
would
if he had been out, then yeah, it'd be a 10 out
If
of 10.
even once he'd been like, I had a partner once, like, just like something like a nugget, some sort of nugget. Again, I appreciate that they just kind of let it be up to the viewer, because in that world, it wouldn't ever come up, because being gay in the fashion world is like not a thing. They're like, yeah, you're gay. We know. So yeah, 9 out of 10.
Perfect. I 100% agree.
Well, I could talk about this movie forever, but
I think we've said it.
I think that's all we can say. I think that's all.
What I'm gonna say is, I think that's all. That's great. I love that. I'm just gonna say I'm really proud of us for having done this together.
Oh my god, stop it.
I know. I'm sorry. I've been working on that one.
You, James, hold your tongue with all those bad puns. Hold your tongue.
Thanks for joining us on Two Gays Watch a Movie this week.
Yes.
Make sure to tune back in.
Yeah, if you want to support the pod, you can find us on Instagram at Two Gays Watch a Movie, or on Twitter at Two Gays Watch, or at Facebook at facebook.com/Two Gays Watch a Movie.
I've been your host, Arron Holman.
And I've been your other host, Zacary Landolt.
And I don't know. Till next time.
That's all.